Greetings. I hope that you are well. I'm Nellie Marcial, Director of the Transfer Center at Triton College. Today I'm going to cover some of the tools that you will need in order to successfully apply to the college or university of your choice. By the end of this presentation, you should have a better idea on how to start your application. So usually we offer this workshop on campus, but given the circumstances, we're bringing it remotely to you. Throughout the presentation, I will be referencing some of the tools that we use on our website and that I hope you will find useful. If you have any follow-up questions at the end, feel free to reach out to Nancy Guzman, our transfer specialist, or myself, and our contact information can be found on our website. So to start, I want you to identify at least 3 colleges or universities that you want to attend. It's okay to have a dream school, but at the end, you want to make a decision on who is going to give you the best deal. And some of the things that I encourage you to think about are affordability, how much coursework transfers, and how long it will take to complete a degree at that institution. Those are usually the 3 things to consider, but obviously the decision will ultimately be yours to make, and but it's good to have options. The next thing I want you to think about are the application deadlines. A lot of selective colleges and universities deadlines have either passed or are coming up very soon for the fall 2020 semester. Other universities' deadlines will either be in April or May, but a lot of them also have what is known as rolling admissions. Rolling admissions means that you can apply up to 2 or 3 weeks before classes begin. I encourage students to give themselves a deadline of at least May 1st. That way you have time over the summer to compare who's going to give you the best deal, but also to think about the logistics of registration, financial aid, housing arrangements, parking, transportation, things like that. So give yourself enough time. The deadlines are on the website, and I also sent earlier in the week an email with all of the deadlines for our top transfer destinations. But again, these can be found on the university websites. Be mindful of the deadlines. The next question I always ask is, are you transfer ready? What does it mean to be transfer ready? Well, for starters, are you considered a transfer student? To be considered a transfer student, most universities require for you to have at least 24 to 30 hours of community college credit. Otherwise, they count you as a freshman. And if you're considered a freshman, it's likely that they will be still looking at ACTs or SATs for admissions. With that said, another thing to consider being ready in order to transfer is your GPA. While most universities accept at least a 2.0 GPA in order to transfer, some specific majors have very strict guidelines and expect a higher GPA. You also want to know, did you take the right classes for the majors? And that's work that you should have been doing ahead of time with your advisor or with your counselor or a mentor. But at this point in the application process, you want to really know that you are ready to transfer seamlessly. The next thing is gathering materials. Now, some universities require letters of recommendation, others require personal statements or writing samples or lists of extracurricular activities. Ultimately, most universities don't require all of those things or will only require one or the other. And sometimes it's just based off of majors and the competitiveness of the major. So I will go into the materials in more detail later on, should you need them. But keep in mind that not all of them will be required. What will be required are official transcripts, and I'll go over those in a lot of detail towards the end. Last but not least is types of applications. Now, most universities and colleges have their own applications that you should do, and that's usually what I recommend, is that you do their application. But some have the Coalition app or Common App as an option. Now, usually those require signatures from deans as well as the records office, which is why I don't always recommend that you go that route, but I do know that many of the selective institutions require the Coalition or Common App. Now, this is a ready to apply checklist. So this is something that you can find on our website, and I'll show you how to go there through our Triton website. If you go to Students and Transfer Center, and then you scroll down, you will see Transfer Resources. Click here to display the links. So the Ready to Apply checklist is really a tool that you can use to keep yourself organized. And it goes into all of the things that we're going to cover today. So please check it out and see how it can help you. Okay. So in terms of gathering materials, we said we would cover those in detail. So for a personal statement or a writing sample, either or, whichever one the university is requiring, make sure to start off by finding a space where you can concentrate. Now, this may be difficult because we are indoors with a lot of other people at this moment, but you should put on some headphones, find a place that's your happy place, set the mood with music, visuals, anything that will allow you to concentrate. Also know that once you start writing, you don't have to finish. You can always go back and figure it out later. Make sure that you're answering the question that is being asked. Stick to the point. Many times I see students write 5 sentences when clearly they're just trying to say the same thing. So sometimes less is more. And in case you didn't know, there is a word count on Word documents, Microsoft Word, on the bottom left, where you can see how many words are being typed. Always make sure you're writing in a Word document, copy, and then paste it into wherever it is that you need to upload the writing sample, because you don't want to assume that that tool is going to be checking for errors. Also, it does take time to proofread. You want to make sure that your grammar is up to par. It has to be impeccable, especially if you're applying for a scholarship. Some of the statements that you write are taken to scholarship committees and reviewed because they want to see, they can sense a lot about you when you're writing. They can sense your maturity. They can sense how much time and effort you've put into taking yourself seriously, truthfully. At the end, they want to know how resilient you are. When you talk about problems, they want to see how you overcome. Are you able to problem solve? Because as students, they want to make sure that you're not going to give up on their campus, but that you're going to be a successful graduate and even more successful alum. Make sure that if you have to write a writing sample, it is comprehensive, well articulated, and it's usually going to be something philosophical or opinion based. But if you do decide to use quotes, do not plagiarize. Be very careful about giving credit to whom is due. And I will say, on our transfer resources page on the bottom, you can see through the Purdue OWL, there are some resources on how to proofread accurately. Also, we do have a writing zone at Triton College. Unfortunately, right now, given the fact that we're closed, it might not be accessible, but you should still have a mentor or someone that you trust help you proofread your statements. Again, it should be more than once that you're proofreading. And as you can see through the picture, punctuation saves lives. It's a joke about a comma being in the right place at the right time, but really, again, if I haven't made it clear, make sure that your personal statements and writing samples are up to par. If you are required to collect a letter of recommendation, make sure that you start off by choosing someone that you know very well and that knows you very well. I think that is the most important thing, that they know you. On the right-hand side, these are questions that a recommender is going to usually ask themselves before they decide to say, yes, I will write a letter for you. And make sure that as you ask someone to write you a letter, that you're giving them enough time. At least a 3 weeks in advance notice is preferred, because they do get busy, especially if you're asking someone like a dean or a person of very high leadership role. It is likely that they're going to need a lot of time. if you want them to write you a very well thought out letter. Also provide them a letter or a resume or a list of extracurricular activities that you are doing at the moment or have done in the past. Even though they might know you very well, they don't know everything that you are doing, and you might be giving them more insight by sharing. It's okay to overshare in this case. Also provide context. Who is the letter recommendation for? What is the deadline? Be honest about those things so that they can also make sure to get you what you need on time. And always have a backup recommender. Don't assume that the person can write a letter for you because, again, sometimes they are on their own deadlines and cannot help you quickly. So make sure that you have someone else as a backup. And then once you've submitted your letter of recommendation, always say thank you to the recommender. You never know when you may need them again, but also follow up with them. Let them know, did you get into the university of your choice? Did you get that scholarship that you needed the letter of recommendation for? Those are things that they want to know because they're going to be cheering for you. Obviously, they're your recommenders. With the extracurricular activities, I've seen this mostly required in the selective universities and also scholarships, but also the selective majors. It can be a huge part of whether a student gets admitted or not if it's a holistic application. And some of the things that are highlighted here are things that I've seen students include in their extracurricular, but also I want to highlight one of the big ones is Phi Theta Kappa. If you are a member of Phi Theta Kappa, you automatically qualify for at least anywhere between $1,000 to a full ride, depending on the university that you are applying to. Some of them award very generous packages for students that are part of Phi Theta Kappa. And so if you are part of that, kudos to you because it can yield a lot of scholarship funding. Other things that are listed on here are considered extracurricular. Again, the importance of this is showing that not only can you be a good student, but you can also give back to your community and be a good citizen overall. Those are things that are very important to some institutions. For the application fee waivers, apologize. They can cost anywhere between $30 to $75, and some universities don't charge application fees. But for those that do, it can get pricey when you're adding 3, 4, 5 colleges and universities. In order to obtain a fee waiver, you can email the transfer center and ask for one. We have a list of them ready to hand out to students. Just let us know where what universities you are looking for. Also, you can contact the financial aid office. They have some as well. And you can also look on the college and university website. They have them there, although sometimes those can be hard to find. Some universities will request that you, the student, email them directly for that fee waiver. So just to let you know, there is no right or wrong answer on how you can get the waiver. There's many ways, but aside from that, you can also get a waiver by attending a special event such as an open house at the university. When we have on-site admissions events at Triton College, that's where universities come and give you a decision on the spot. We ask them to also waive the application fees there. We did have some planned, some passed and some were planned, but unfortunately they've been canceled given the circumstances. But note that we will have some more in the future. And during those on-site admissions events, the nice thing is that we also provide our students free Triton College transcripts on the spot. So a really good opportunity. But what they look at, what universities are looking at when providing application fee waivers is ultimately your income. And your income is figured out through your FAFSA application, which is why you're going to submit this fee waiver to the Triton College Financial Aid Office, and they will help you fill it out. Other things that they look at are listed on here, so you don't have to be FAFSA eligible in order to get the fee waiver, although that is usually the biggest indicator. You can also, once this is done and verified, then you'll send the application, to the college or university office of admissions. I do recommend that you start your application process before you send this over there. You don't have to have the application done, but at least have an account. That way they can put a name to the waiver. Otherwise, it's just going to be floating because they're not going to know where to put it. For the Triton College official transcripts, you can actually bring your phone up to this QR code and it'll take you straight to the Parchment. Parchment is an electronic way that you can get your transcripts. Again, because of what is happening right now, I recommend that you only send them electronically. Don't send them via paper. And if you type in Parchment in the search engine, you'll see that it's going to take you to the records office at Triton College. And even they say, due to campus closure, transcripts may be ordered through Parchment for electronic delivery only. So you click on Parchment and you create an account if you don't have one already. And then it's very simple. You just only pay $5 for the transcripts to be sent. Now that will only be the Triton College transcript. Other transcripts that the university may require are your high school and GED or GED transcripts, not because they care how you did in high school, but they just want to make sure that you completed. If you've attended any other college or university, they will be requiring those as well. If you have any AP or IB credit earned from high school, even though Triton College accepted it, keep in mind that the college or university may accept it in a different way. And so you'll have to send those official transcripts as well. Any other types of transcripts that may be required include ACT or SAT scores. Those are usually for the either education majors or for the selective enrollment institutions. CLEP exams are proficiency exams that students take at Triton College to test out of certain classes and get credit. Those may or may not be accepted at a college or university, so you always want to double check with them. And also major specific exams. So for example, nursing students, in order to get into most nursing programs, are required to have a certain score in their HESA or ATITS exam. If you're in that career, you should already know this, but those are the other types of transcripts that may be required. This transfer planning tool is really to get you started on the process. As you can see, you can write down a lot of things that will help you stay organized throughout the process. Please keep in mind that as you start applying, it does take a while and you might have to save your application and go back to it later. That can be found under Transfer Resources, Transfer Planning Worksheet. And here you can list the 3 universities that you're applying to. Obviously, you can have more than 3. The contact for that institution, should you want to follow up with someone there, we can provide you that, Nancy and I. And also any deadlines, any GPA for their major, things that you may want to know. You can save your passwords, although those should probably automatically be saved on your personal computer. Oh, apologize for this. All right. And well, hopefully this has helped prepare you getting your application started. Remember to start gathering your materials, but first identify what materials you need for what institution you're applying to. Stay organized. I showed you 2 different checklist tools that can keep you organized throughout the process. Save your applications. You don't have to submit them all at once. You can save them and go back to them and until you're ready to submit, and give yourself enough time. So if you decide to give yourself a May 1st deadline, start working on these now so that you have all summer to really think about where it is that you want to go. And if you already know where you are going, please share your success story with us. Go to bit.ly/Triton Success Stories. We want to gather your stories and really share them with other students who may need that inspiration, because they want to see themselves in you, and they want to know, how did you do this? How did you get along, through the transfer process? And so please share what was helpful. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me or Nancy. We hope that you found this helpful. Thank you for joining us today, and you have a great rest of the week.